Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Before Jeffrey Davis starts, I've got to tell you some news. We're still looking for people to join our team. Don't forget. If you want to join our team, you will. All you got to just kind of pick a day, a time, and your show. You can have your own show on our platform, and all we ask is a little fee, and that will go towards our work on here. Also, thank you very much. We've got around about 26,500 people on our YouTube channel, and also we are kind of like now looking for kind of sponsors. So if you're anybody interested out there can help us, I'm so grateful. Hello, Jeffrey. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing, Steve? Good to see you again.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you. Um, Tell everybody a bit about yourself, what you do, and everything.
Sure. So, my name is Jeffrey Davis. I'm based in Mexico in San Miguel de Allende. At this point in time, I happen to be in Tulum doing a little traveling. I'm here to scout out locations for a retreat center that I'm going to hold a retreat for men in November because I'm a men's coach. I work with high achieving men who have gotten to a place in their lives where the cost of what they're trying to accomplish has become too big. It's taken a toll on their health. It's taken a toll on their relationships. It's taken a toll on their happiness, their fulfillment. It's taken a toll on their experience in life. And, we'll dive into kind of why that happens and things like that as we go on. But I come from a corporate background back in the United States. I grew up on the East Coast and then went into the advertising world in large corporations. And I was one of those men. So I did a lot of work and got to a different place where I'm operating very differently. And it's a lot more fun.
Brilliant. Well done. What
Yeah.
kind of people come to you? What kind of people come to you? What kind of men come to you and say, Jeffrey, I need your help.
Yeah, so these are smart guys. They're accomplished. They usually have a relationship, if not a family, and they've done well for themselves. They're used to achieving things, but there's a piece of them that they're leaving behind. And my take on it is that they're operating from external value sets versus internal value sets. So externally, things look good. Externally,
Right.
they've accomplished what most people would say, oh, that's a good life. And, there's a disconnect between their life
Hmm.
and how they're feeling. Because at a certain point, you have to address what's inside. So I help them step inside and become leaders in their life as opposed to leaders externally.
Right. Okay. What is the length where you kind of like have somebody? How long does it take, or does it take quite a while?
Yeah, so it has taken people a while to get to where they are. So it takes a while to unravel the programming that got them there. And so there's several things that we work with. One is emotional intelligence, and I don't know if your readers and your subscribers are familiar, but our bodies are record keepers for our emotions. And as men, we don't necessarily, nor are we encouraged, nor do we have the languaging and the processing around how to release our emotions. And so we don't really go for support and things build up. And so that can be part of the body breakdown that people experience. So what I do is I help them process emotions. I help them get attuned to the information that their bodies are providing. So we work with the body first. And then we start to work with the mind. We start to work with the programming and the belief systems and this information that is running in the background that has gotten them to where they are. and some of that is good, and some of that is not, and is has taken them to this wall that they're hitting. And then what we do is go from there, and then we start to address a little bit the spiritual side, so that they're aligned and really operating from a place that they choose to operate from. So that's working with value sets. That's also working with, however, their expression of what their legacy on this planet and during this lifetime is going to be. And I'm not talking from an ego standpoint when I say legacy. Oh, okay, I donated this much money and I've got my name on the side of a hospital, and that can be good. But I'm talking about legacy and answering deep questions that take a long time to answer, like who am I and what am I here to do?
Right. What is
Right?
emotional? What is emotional intelligence?
Well, emotional intelligence is actually, super interesting. It's what people, the first piece of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. And awareness of you and how you operate is key and critical for creating anything in alignment with who you are. So, answering that question and starting to understand, who am I? How do I operate? Have I integrated my emotions, my shadows, the emotions and the parts of me that I don't want to look at? The things that are triggering me, the things that I'm numb to, and start to integrate them so they become a full, wholehearted human. So self-awareness is understanding all of that, those pieces of you. And the second piece of emotional intelligence is self-regulation. So some men and people are very good at self control, but without understanding what they're controlling, what it's all about, and processing it. So it becomes avoidance. It's a type of avoidance. I know I was very good at that as a young man growing up,
Mm,
and that was a part of that, of my experience that I needed to integrate. So the second piece is about self-regulation and having the tools to regulate yourself as emotions come up and process that. The
right.
third piece, yeah, and the third piece is relating to others, empathy and understanding people. And you can't really understand where somebody's coming from on a deep level that they can feel empathy without understanding yourself, right?
Right. Okay.
Empathy is a
What?
piece. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Go on. Carry on. No. No. You carry on.
Yeah, empathy, it comes from the heart. It comes from understanding. It comes from feeling. It's not, there's a difference between empathy and sympathy. Sympathy is more like, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. And empathy is really stepping into what their experience is, right? So being able to and being open, wholehearted in a way that you can step into what would that be like if you experience what they were
Mm,
experiencing. Can you understand where they're coming from? And that's really what it's about. Can you understand where they're coming from? And that will change every relationship in your life. But the first step to get there is self-awareness and understanding yourself. And then you move into social skills and how you relate to society in a larger way. So it kind of ripples out from self-awareness to self-regulation to empathy, and then also into social skills. So
what are
those
the
are the
signs of what are the signs of emotional intelligence?
well, the signs of emotional intelligence are, when somebody is able to communicate how they feel in a response way versus a reactive way, right? So they have a healthy relationship with who they are and their emotional status, whatever that might be at whatever moment, and they're able to manage that wave of emotion that comes up. I There was a great quote that a friend of mine said, and a great coach. He said that, emotions are just gas, meaning that emotions that they can pass through you, and that they are a temporary state. And so they can be triggered by several things. They can be triggered by a trauma or something that's happened in your past, or a belief system and thoughts that come from that. So if somebody were to say, speak to you and say, "Hey, I'm experiencing anger right now," instead of, "You make me so angry," da, 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 da. I mean, those are two very different experiences, and we've all probably been on the receiving end or possibly on the sending end of both of those, or at least one of those. But the first one, where somebody is blaming you and making you responsible for how they feel, that's a sign that the emotional intelligence, there's a bit of a gap in that moment.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so, yeah, when you take responsibility for your feelings, you take responsibility for what's going on in your world, and you understand that with that responsibility, you can regulate, you can communicate, you can express, and it's distinctly different than what you see in media, what you see in most interactions. And it's the type of communication and relations that would literally change the world.
yeah, yeah.
And
How
as more
come?
people as more people come
How?
online, then it does make a difference. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. How does emotional intelligence measured? How is it measured?
How does it what?
How does emotional intelligence? How is it measured?
Oh, how is it measured? Well, I mean, there are different tests online that you can take, but the real measure is the quality of true intimate relationships that you have in your life. So, are you expressing yourself, and do you have intimate relationships with your male friends and your female friends and your intimate significant other, whoever that may be, right? So, versus and they're in communication. So really, the true measurement is twofold, I believe. First, the
Mhm.
external measurement of the relationships that you're having, and second, the internal relationship that you're having with yourself. And I believe that as humans, our humanity resides in our heart. So, for instance, if you if you ask somebody, "How was your day today?" and they're like, "Oh, great, I went here and I went there and then I did this and I saw da 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 and then da da da," and they tell you that, and you listen, which is great. That's great. So they updated you on their day, but on some level, it's an agenda of what happened, you know,
Yeah,
versus, "Oh, I went to this place and it made me laugh because I ran into, blah, blah, blah. And that person always just really touches my heart. And they read me this email that they got from a close friend of theirs. And it's just like, it changed my day." I mean, there's a very different expression and experience when living from your heart and being able to tap into that. And the freedom to tap into that, into the vastness of your heart and your full expression of humanity, is provided by your emotional intelligence. It provides the freedom and it provides the safety for that.
so, what is the impact then? What's the impact of emotional intelligence?
Well, the impact from the standpoint of the high achiever in corporate or entrepreneur or something like that is that your IQ can only get you so far. Your emotional intelligence is the bonus question. That's really where you become a true leader, is your ability to have emotional intelligence. So it changes your business standpoint enormously. Um, so there, you have more opportunity, you have more impact, and that's on a business level. And then on a personal level, the impact is that the people around you feel safe. They understand where you are in terms of what your experience is, and they feel connected to you, and they feel a sense of being able to truly relate to you, I know that when I did a lot of work on opening my heart, and as a result, my emotional intelligence basically came online. I the interactions that I had with everybody changed enormously. My conversations changed enormously. The energy in my body changed enormously. Um, so that I was able to have just even brief conversations with people that I didn't know on a deep and interesting level. And it wasn't about ego. It was fascinating to see. And I would have reflections back from other people saying, I've never had conversations like this before, or people around me don't speak like this. Um, so it was just really interesting to see how my shift made an impact in the world around me.
Right. Okay. How do we use emotional intelligence? How do we use it?
Well, um, emotional intelligence is essentially a way of relating uh, from our humanity. So we use it in ways that help us manage our humanity, our feelings, our things that come up, things that might trigger us. It helps us heal and understand what's going on inside of us, so we can either regulate that, which is the second step, or we can communicate that, which would be a form of regulation, in a way that's healthy. So we become more healthy. Um, and as we become more healthy and process our emotions and move them through our body and through our experience, we become healthier. We become more emotionally healthy, more psychologically healthy, more physically healthy. Um, and so it makes a difference in terms of our experience, and it makes a big difference in terms of other people's experience. And as a result, it will also up level your confidence. It will up level the energy that you bring to the room. It will basically change everything about your experience and other people's experience of you.
Yeah. Do you have any tips of improving emotional intelligence?
Yeah, I mean, well, the 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 thing that helped me the most was I worked with people. I became open. So I did several things. One is I found one or many people to work with that could guide me in the healing that I needed to do internally. So that was one thing. The second thing is I became open to not knowing everything. I became open to the fact that everything I knew was completely upside down backwards and needed to change. Now, whether that was true or not, ultimately, on some level, that's what happened. I being open and in a space, and when you get to a certain place, or you don't necessarily have a fully integrated self, and but you have a level of accomplishment, so you can have like this front that looks good, and then there's a gap between that and who you actually are. So that gap can be filled with unacknowledged self parts, trauma, emotional wounds. And so that you need some help processing that from a physical standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, and somebody who can help you navigate and understand a bit more about what's happening inside. And so that can be a group, an emotional group. Men's groups are good. I'm launching one. I'm actually doing a 5-day challenge for men. So that's going to have tools and techniques and things like that that are all free over the course of 5 days. I'm also, so that was my process, was working with somebody, being open, and doing the work. It's not pleasant work. You know,
Mm.
um, Reacquainting yourself with parts that you've been avoiding or that you don't know, you're not aware of.
Yeah, yeah. What are the potential pitfalls?
The potential pitfalls. So, I mean, I think, to be honest with you, I think the biggest pitfall is not doing it. Beyond that, um, if you're honestly trying, and you're looking for, if you're looking for some guidance from the world around you, therapist, coach, whoever it happens to be, and you're open, and you start to tune into, how am I feeling? Who am I? What am I here to do? Um, and what's my, and being open to the fact that your first analysis, your first answer of what you're communicating may not be right. Right? Like, so what's the most vulnerable? What's actually underneath? Right? So instead of, I'm angry at this person, maybe there's actually sadness underneath. And anger is the way we react to protect ourselves from the sadness that's underneath. So the pitfalls might be, one, you're not doing it, and two, that, you're maybe you're not in a safe place to do it. Otherwise, to be honest with you, the the biggest thing is making sure that you do it and do the work, because when you do, the people around you benefit, and you do too.
Brilliant. What
Yeah.
with your business, and when someone comes to you and say, "Look, Jeffrey, I need some help." What is the procedure, the actual procedure that you do?
Um, well, I work with people over a period of time. My one-on-one clients, I have two programs. One is 6 months, and one is 3 months, which is much more intense and in person. There's an in-person point with that, but we really again start with the body. What's how, and connecting to the body, understanding what's going on in the body, and attuning to the body, because there's so much information there, and so many people are not fully in their body, don't know how to listen to what their body's saying, and are not attuned to the messaging. So that's kind of the first place that we start, and then we start looking at, the body and the mind and the spirit, and connecting them to that, and getting them to acquaint themselves with the parts, the emotions that they've been avoiding. Most men are don't really have an outlet for their emotions, and as they get slightly older, they friend groups start to break out, and they become more and more isolated. So there's not the support. So really, what I do is I provide the support with them on a place internally. And so that's really where we start to work. We start to work with what's going with their world internally, and helping them get to a place where they're lit up. They're lit up and ignited about what they're doing in their life, and they're lit up and ignited about what is possible to create in their life. Now, these are people that, many of them are quite accomplished. I've worked with Olympic athletes. I've also worked with TV producers and book authors, and things like that. Even people that are in the spiritual world and well known, and done quite a few things, but nobody's immune. We're all
Mhm.
human, and there's only so long that you can avoid yourself. And some of the things that I do and that I show people are simple, but they're not necessarily easy. That's why people have avoided it for so long. So I take them through this process. The two programs are distinctly different. Like I said, the 3 months involves a 5-day trip to San Miguel de Allende, which is where I live in Mexico, the heart of Mexico. It's built on rose quartz. It's a beautiful town. And so they come down and work with me intimately for 5 days, and then there's support for that the course of 3 months. And then the other program is over 6 months, and that's basically online. And so as I work with them, we start to change habits. We start to make small changes in daily habits that have enormous impact in their experience of life, their belief systems, and the way that they're being present.
Brilliant. Very good. And can you tell me how can people contact you if they need to contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. I am on Facebook as Jeffrey Davis Coach. I'm also running like I said, a 5-day challenge, which will be going up on August 15th and runs for 5 days. So those are two ways. And then a third way so the 5-day challenge is called Life on Purpose. I can provide a link for any one of these
Yes,
things
please.
that I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I can send.
If you send me all the links, then what I'll do, I'll stick it on our website for you.
Okay, awesome. And then certainly I'm available on LinkedIn too.
Brilliant. So please, do contact Jeffrey, and if he can help you with any tool, kind of just get the help there because everybody needs help, and if we desperately need the help, Jeffrey's there for you to get the help that you deserve. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for coming back on.
Thank you so much, Steve. I always love chatting with you. It's always good fun and great to see you again.
Thank you so much, and take care, and see you very soon.
All right.